Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has continued to make phone calls with world leaders since President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. announced that President Vladimir Putin of Russia will meet with him next week Friday in the U.S. state of Alaska, and stated while answering questions from the Whitehouse reporters that there will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both Ukraine and Russia, specifically saying, "We will get some back, and we will get some switched. There will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both," a statement that immediately and apparently drew the attention of the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who have issued series of video and written press releases since President Donald Trump made the announcement, insisting that Ukraine will not cede any of its territory to Russia for the purpose of peace or to end the war, emphasizing that it was because President Putin occupied part of Ukraine territory in the past and assembled its troops Ukrainian borders without preventive punishment, made him to start full-scale war with Ukraine since 2022, adding that the path to peace for Ukraine must be determined together with Ukraine. This is fundamental. It is important that joint approaches and a shared vision work toward genuine peace, a consolidated position, ceasefire, end of occupation, end of war. According to Trump, the highly anticipated meeting between myself, as President of the United States of America, and President Vladimir Putin, of Russia, will take place next Friday, August 15, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Zelenskyy, in a series of press releases on Saturday, said, "I have not heard any partners express doubts about America's ability to ensure that the war ends. The President of the United States has the levers and the determination. Ukraine has supported all of President Trump's proposals, starting back in February. Ceasefire, all formats have been supported. What is needed now is not a pause in the killings, but a real, lasting peace. Not a ceasefire sometime in the future, in months, but immediately. President Trump told me so, and I fully support it. There must be a just end to the war, and it is Russia that must end the war it started. Ukraine and all partners share the same understanding of the need for a ceasefire, for an end to the killings. There is only one actor opposing this, Putin. His only card is the ability to kill, and he is trying to sell the cessation of killings at the highest possible price. It is important that this does not mislead anyone. Results are needed at the leader's level. Dignified results, results that will save lives, that the world will value, and for which it will be grateful to the leader who delivers them. Everyone clearly sees Putin's tactics. He fears sanctions and is doing everything to bail on them. He wants to exchange a pause in the war, in the killings, for the legalization of the occupation of our land. He wants to get territorial spoils for the second time. Putin was allowed to take Crimea, and this led to the occupation in Donetsk and Luhansk regions. He received no preventive punishment when he amassed a contingent on our borders. This led to the full Nigeria police force has refuted claims that its men manhandled Sahara Reporters publisher Omoyele Sowore inside cell after the media personnel honored the invitation sent him from the Office of the Inspector General of Police, IGP, over allegations of forgery and criminal defamation of characters, with the police stating in a press release signed and made available after the detained media publisher was released on Friday night that Sowore allegedly brought bandages alongside other personal items when he came to the station to honor the police invitation, and when the IGP ordered internal investigation to ascertain if truly the media publisher was tortured as claimed, Sowore refused to allow medical personnel from the Nigeria police force check the alleged injury on his hand he had claimed he suffered as a result of the police personnel brutality while inside cell. Meanwhile, as at the time Sowore was released on Friday night, bandages were still seen wrapped around one of his hands as seen in the video while he was coming out from the IGP Rapid Response Team, IRT police detention facilities in Abuja, as stated by Sowore in the video. Shortly after his release from detention facilities at the IGP Rapid Response Team on Friday, Sowore posted on his social media handles and said that, "Freedom is never given. It is not a gift from the powerful, nor a token handed down by the oppressor. It must be seized with raw courage, with clarity, and with collective will. Those who sit in power never give it up willingly. That's why we take it back. Because freedom is ours and we will fight until it is no longer a dream but a lived reality. Nigeria Police Force, in a statement issued on August 8, 2025 and made available to the public, said, "The Nigeria Police Force is compelled to address and decisively correct the recent wave of disinformation being peddled in connection with the lawful arrest and detention of Mr. Omoyele Sowore, a figure known for manipulating public narratives and weaponizing propaganda to malign state institutions and their leadership, particularly the Office of the Inspector General of Police." Contrary to the falsehoods being circulated, Mr. Sowore was arrested based on credible, corroborated allegations involving criminal offenses such as forgery, cyberstalking, and other infractions currently under active investigation. The arrest was effected in full compliance with extant legal provisions, and with strict adherence to constitutional safeguards, due process, and the rights of the suspect. To be clear, Mr. Sowore was released on bail well within the 48-hour constitutional window, in accordance with the provisions of Section 35(4) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended. He is fully aware of the nature of the allegations against him and has been duly informed of the charges. He is expected to appear before a court of competent jurisdiction in the coming days to answer to the accusations in a lawful and transparent judicial process. Equally false and grossly misleading is the narrative suggesting that Mr. Sowore was tortured or subjected to any form of inhuman or degrading treatment while in custody. The Nigeria Police Force maintains a zero-tolerance. Human rights activist and founder of Sahara Reporters News Network, Omoyele Sowore has been reportedly manhandled on Thursday early morning inside police cell by officers from the Inspector General of Police, IGP Monitoring Unit, after the journalist honored the invitation sent him from the Office of the Inspector General of Police for a reason not stated, but the media personnel working with Omoyele Sowore in a statement on Thursday, made available through the verified personal social media handles of Sowore, said that the police presented 2 petitions against Sowore over alleged forgery and defamation of character, adding that some police officers from the IGP monitoring unit as early as 6 a.m. on Thursday entered Sowore's cell at the Force Intelligence Department in Abuja, with alleged pretense to take the media publisher to court, but when the journalist demanded to see the charges against him, he was allegedly handled roughly by a team of armed policemen. This, Barrister Adeyanju Deji petitioned the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, demanding the immediate dismissal of the IGP, Kayode Egbetoken, for allegedly abusing his office by thus using his high-ranking office in the Nigeria Police Force to settle personal scores, although the Nigeria Police Force has not reacted to these allegations, but the force in a press release on Thursday afternoon, apparently made statements in relation to the current matters involving the detained media publisher, Omoyele Sowore, by insisting and stating in the press statement that the recent promotions in the Nigeria Police Force was based on merit, and not selective, accusing an unnamed online platform of allegedly sponsoring deliberate falsehoods to tarnish the image of the force, while also calling on officers and men of the force to desist from lobbying to get promoted, saying, "The IGP has warned that any police personnel caught lobbying to get promotion will be made to face disciplinary action." According to the post published via Sowore's social media handles, the media team of the publisher said, "This morning at 6 a.m., a police team led by a chief superintendent of police from the IGP monitoring unit forcibly gained entry into Omoyele Sowore's cell at the Force Intelligence Department in Abuja, claiming they were taking him to court." The team of 9 officers, including 8 heavily armed personnel, handled Sowore roughly when he asked to see the charges and notify his lawyers, breaking his arm in the process, before taking him to another police facility, the media team stated. In another post, the media said, the notorious former SARS officer, DCP Akin Fakorede, presented 2 petitions to Sowore from the illegal IGP's office, one alleged forgery and the second written by Bukola Yemisi Kuti, who was promoted to ACP because she's mistress, alleges criminal defamation. Sawore had, before honoring the police invitation on Wednesday, said in a number of posts previous day that the IGP monitoring unit has scheduled my interview for tomorrow at 11 a.m., yet they have refused to provide a copy of the purported petition against me. It is now clear that their intention is to conceal the sinister plan of the illegal IGP and continue operating in darkness. Despite this, Anambra is no doubt one of the states in Nigeria experiencing incessant and very high rates of kidnapping that in some cases do lead to the death of the abducted victims and killing of security operatives and some other persons around the scene of the mostly monetary crimes of hostage-taking for a ransom. Specifically, our crime reporters gathered that there is hardly no week without one or two persons being kidnapped along the Onitsha-Owerri Federal Road in Anambra State, especially between Oba community and Ihiala town, as we gathered that most victims of kidnapping in the state are hard-working small and medium-sized business owners who most of whom struggled out of poverty to become wealthy successful traders. This, we learnt, there may be no wealthy successful business owner along the Ihiala-Olu road left to be kidnapped or forced to pay ransom to the kidnappers, while in Oba, wealthy people are being kidnapped quietly and ransom in millions are paid in silence to the kidnappers. According to members of the community, a young successful businessman was kidnapped recently at a location between the Oba New Road and Old Road junctions shortly after he visited his building construction site, while we also learned that some people in the state do report or contract their friends to kidnappers just to get a share from the ransom that will be paid afterwards, or when such people have issue or dispute with their friends or co-traders. It may interest you to know that the Anambra State Police Command recently arrested a 24-year-old male suspect, Muananye Victor, for allegedly luring his friend to be kidnapped by his criminal gang in Uli, Ihiala local government area of the state, and they reportedly collected a ransom in dollars equivalent to 5.3 million nairas with his gang members, just as gunmen in a not too long distance time abducted a lawyer and two other persons in Mpologwu, Aguata local government area of Anambra, in addition to previous cases of kidnapping of the owner of the Porsche Club, Chief Ibia Orji, by unknown gunmen after the gunmen killed numbers of persons along the new Oba Newi Road in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State, with the number of those killed at the Porsche nightclub said to be 7, but one of the security operatives was beheaded, and another had his foot cut off and made away with by the invading deadly kidnappers. This occurred shortly after a well-known native doctor or witch doctor, Chidozie Nwangu aka Akwa Okoko Tiwaraki, was kidnapped, after his two personal aides killed in the vicinity of his hotel at Oba community before the kidnappers effortlessly took him away and was released after ransom in millions were reportedly paid. That not all, on May 21, 2022, shortly after Professor Chukwuma Soludo was sworn in as governor, gunmen abducted the lawmaker representing Aguata 2 constituency in the State House of Assembly, Okchukwu Okoye, also known as Okidai represented Soludo's state constituency. Isuofia Okoye was killed and beheaded alongside his aide, Cyril Chiegboka, 6 days after they were abducted along Agulazigbo Road, Anaoka local government area of the state, and their heads and bodies dumped along a roadside in the state. And in December 2024, another lawmaker in the State House of Assembly was killed. Ghana Minister of Defense, Edward Omain Boma, alongside 7 other top government officials and military personnel, have been confirmed dead, after Ghana Armed Forces in a statement on Wednesday had declared the Z-9 military helicopter missing, stating, "The helicopter traveling from the nation capital in Accra to Obuasi in Ashanti region went off from radar at 9:12 a.m. with 3 crew members and 5 passengers on board." Others killed in the helicopter crash, as confirmed by the Office of the President of Ghana, include Dr. Alhaji Murtala Muhammad, MP for Tamale Central, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Alhaji Munaru Muhammad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, Dr. Samuel Sarpong, Vice Chairman of the NDC, Samuel Aboagye, former parliamentary candidate, squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala, flying officer Chouamampadou, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. It was gathered that the military helicopter went down at Adansi Akrofum in the Ashanti region on Wednesday, for yet to be stated cause of the incident, as video footage showed the burnt beyond recognition bodies of those on board the aircraft. The aircraft was from Accra and heading for Abauzi and is currently off the radar. All efforts are being made to establish contact, the Ghana Armed Forces had stated in a statement earlier on Wednesday. The government of Ghana has directed that all national flags be flown at half-mast in honor of the late government top officials, Edward Omain Boma, Minister for Defense, and Ibrahim Matala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, among others, who died in the military helicopter crash. According to local media, the fatal incident occurred on Wednesday, August 6, in the Adansi Akrofum district of the Ashanti region, while the two ministers, along with 6 others, were en route to Obuasi for official duties. Announcing the directive, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah expressed the government's deep sorrow regarding the loss of the 2 senior public officials and others on board the helicopter. The president is emotionally down. The vice president is leading a team to formally inform the families. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu told news reporters following the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of top government officials, including the defense and environment ministers. While announcing the death of all passengers and crew members on board, the Ghana Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, said, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Apoku Agumang, who is with us here, and the government of Ghana, I have the unpleasant duty, sadly, to announce a national tragedy involving the crash of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in the Ashanti region. Government regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash. Dr. Edward Kofi Omain Boma, Minister for Defense. Al-Haji, Dr. Ibrahim Matala Mohammed, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Al-Haji Munaru Mohammed, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Samuel Sarpong, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Anambra State Government under the leadership of Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, has said that the state is currently in search of justice over the killing of a young and creative fish farmer, Martin Zafesinachi Onyekesi, well known by his business name as Fish Magnet, who was reportedly shot on the leg while being kidnapped on Sunday the 27th of July 2025, at his residence in Ezinifite village, Okpuno in Awka, the Anambra State capital. This, Dr. George Moghalu, the Labour Party candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in the state, said that Anambra State is no longer safe, adding that people are being killed, slaughtered for their families to bury in silence, while the state governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, looks the other way, with no sympathy, condolence visit or statement. Specifically, Moghalu said, I must speak frankly, Anambra is no longer safe, not even in the state capital. Our people are being slaughtered, kidnapped, and buried in silence while the government looks the other way. This is not leadership, it is abandonment. Just recently, we lost over 10 lives in a ghastly accident at Amici, Noe South local government area, yet there was no statement, no condolence, not even a visit from the state government. Instead, we see street renamings and political endorsement rallies. Where is our conscience? Moghalu stated, while the former lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu, the detained Biafra agitation leader, Barrister Afeni Ejiofor, said the people of the state are currently romancing with crimes, hiding criminals, and painting absurd narratives on social media to glorify and justify the rising crimes in the state, saying, the most frightening part, the reckless energy our own people expend defending these killers. When you shield murderers because they are your kinsmen, you embolden them. When you justify kidnappings under the guise of ethnic pride, you leave the gates wide open for the real external aggressors, like armed herdsmen, whose invasion will come when we are weakest and most divided. Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Lawmaker made the government position known on Sunday after he led other government officials on a condolence visit to the bereaved mother of the victim, who happened to be the woman leader of the Anambra State All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Mrs. Esther Onyekesi. According to Punch newspaper, Onyekere, a son of the woman leader of the Anambra State All Progressives Grand Alliance, was abducted by gunmen at his residence in Ezinifite community, Okuno, Awka South local government area of Anambra State, in a late-night attack on Saturday, July 26, and was subsequently killed. In a press statement released on Sunday, the State Commissioner for Information, Lawmaker, sympathized with the deceased's family, assuring them that the state government is in search of justice while sustaining and strengthening security in the state. Mefa, who maintained that such a development is an affront to the Professor Chukwuma Soludo government's new security architecture, also expressed delight that the police are on the heels of the perpetrators. The commissioner was quoted as having stated this when he paid a condolence visit to the woman leader of the Anambra State APGA, Esther Onyekesi, according to the statement. The statement read in part, the Anambra State Commissioner
bringing you the news in a more digital way.